Okay. White supremacist story, okay? But the guy was Puerto Rican. Yeah. So I'm originally from Chicago, and this is my experience. Now, you can argue with me and be like, oh, this didn't happen, but this definitely happened. So, back in the day, when I was a younger whippersnapper, I used to do a lot of shit I shouldn't have done, right? So, I remember once it was really late at night, me and my homegirl were walking, and we were walking to the train. It was like super late, it was like 2 in the morning. And this guy was driving by and he had like a Jeep, but it was an open Jeep. Like it was open, like so you could see him, you could see everything that was going on. And he was like, he's like, "What's up, y'all want to ride?" And we're like, "No, we're good." He's like, "No, no, no, for real. I'll take you where you need to go." And we were going far. It was late. We were tired. We looked at each other like, "Okay, the Jeep is open. Please, never do that. Okay, never ever do that." Just was not a wise move. But I was safe, and thank God that God was watching over me. Anyway, so when we get in the car, he goes like this. He goes like this. He flashes this symbol. So I'm thinking he's talking about like West Side or something, okay? So we get in the car and he starts talking about the KKK. And he's just kind of going on. Me and my girl were looking at each other like, what's he talking about? And he's like, yeah. He goes, I'm a part of the KKK. And we're like, what? So now we're like, oh shit. And we're like, how are you in the KKK? You're Puerto Rican. He said, there's a lot of us in the KKK, Puerto Rican, mixed, black. He says, a lot of us. And I said, really? And he was like, yeah. And I said, why? And he said, because we believe that the white race is a superior race. We believe that. He said, listen to this next. This is no cap, no cap. He goes, who do you think paid for this car? I said, what? He said, who do you think paid for this car? I'm in law school. Who do you think is paying for that? And I was like, you're in law school? He said, yes, they pay for us to be lawyers, to go through school for attorneys, police officers, judges, anything to do with law and law enforcement. Like they pay for us to go into that. Like they pay for all of that. I don't know why he was telling us all this, but we decided to change where our address was on the spot. Like we were like, girl, like let's tell him we live somewhere else. And then he started saying we like black people are inferior and all these things. And I was like, well, and I said, well, black people are so inferior. How did Egypt come about? And he was like, well, that's aliens. And I said, well, let's just take your logic for a minute. If aliens could be at any race on the earth and they could choose any race on the earth to impart their brilliance, why would they choose Africans over everybody else if they weren't superior? So he didn't know how to answer that. But I'm just saying, y'all, stay woke. Yeah, stay woke. Because he also said that they had done some killings and blamed it on the gangs.